Hello, and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Catherine and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. This week, we continued our West Wing watch with the next-to-last episode, Institutional Memory. But first, the Good Place episode called Mondays, Am I Right? What did you think about this episode, Catherine?
Well, a lot happened. And
a lot happened.
I was a little bit surprised by the end with how far we had come from the beginning.
It's like we spent the whole, like half the season on these 4 humans repeating the experiment who we've now completely forgotten about except for Chidi. And then we go through like a season and a half of plot in 1.5 hour.
Yeah, that's right. I already forgot about Brent and Simone and that other guy who was like even less of a character than Brent and Simone.
Yeah, when last heard of they were frozen in a car someplace, frozen in time. Whatever happened to those guys?
Yeah.
But never mind them. We're going away in a balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lot to enjoy. Like,
there was a lot.
The return of the triumphant return of Vicky.
Yes.
The demon, or as she said, an acid snake in the skin suit of a strong, powerful woman or something. And some new demons that we got to meet.
Right.
And,
right at the end where we'll probably never see them again, but hey.
Yeah. Well, and I listened to the podcast, and apparently one of them, the woman named Megan, was on a previous episode, which I kind of forgot. Like from season 2. So.
Yeah.
And some good Chidi and Jason interactions that were kind of fun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Sounds like you weren't convinced.
I just, it seemed to set up where we were going to go for the next little while, and then it wrapped it up in like 20 minutes, and then started a whole new thing, and then ended a whole new thing, and then we're off to the Good Place, and a lot of time went by in this episode.
Yes.
It's like, don't get attached to any particular one of these plots we're going to be talking about.
Right.
Going through all humanity and picking people out, that sounds funny. Oops, no, we're done with that. And training the demons. Oh, wait, no, that happened when off camera. And, Michael deciding that he wants to go to the Good Place. Well, that happened off camera. And all this convincing the judge to let them all go. Well, that all happened off. I mean, that could have been like another half a season of plot burnt off.
Sure.
This show has always seemed to me to have pacing problems. Mm-hmm. And this was a good example of that. So, like, individually, things were neat, but they didn't have much room to breathe.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And it's like, are Chidi and Eleanor going to be doubting each other again?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sort of seemed like retreaded ground. Is Chidi going to be not confident again? What happened to that guy? That guy, like, that was here last week would not have been concerned that Eleanor is, would be bored with him. He'd be like, cool, you had all these experiences. I can't wait to hear about them over all eternity.
Right.
So that seemed a little off. And I still think that Jason is off. It's just that nobody's mentioning it anymore. But, I mean, the thing about what said, the Montagues and the Capulets.
Yes.
As they mentioned on the Good Place podcast, somebody expected that he would say they were 2 Florida families. And yeah, that's what you would expect from Jason.
Right.
And instead he said, yeah, I read the book. It's just like something's off with that guy.
Well, and they never
And if there's no payoff to it, then it's just bad writing.
Well, remember, he like Janet Leigh conjured a drink at one time, and they never explained how or why
so it's
happened.
Like, there's got to be a payoff to it. And if there's going to be a payoff to it, there should keep being breadcrumbs. And if there's not, somebody should, and if there's not, then what the heck?
Right.
So, I don't know. It just, I think it's possibly with many seasons of this, that in retrospect, I like things better when I know how they're ending. So after the end, I may look back on these episodes and go, oh, I see how they were planting this here, and I see how they were planting this there, and oh, I like this so much more now that I know where it's going to end. Like, I mean, I watched the first season spoiled already. I knew where it was going. But if I hadn't been, I wonder if I would have been a little bored with those episodes when they're just in the good place and then looked back on it later going, oh, I see. Look at this. I see what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that may be the case for this season. I think it was sort of the case for last season because there was a lot of stuff that was kind of but then you had those wonderful emotional episodes at the end and then you look back at the things that led up to it.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, it's okay. When I was done, I felt like saying, well, that was a half hour of American Network television that just passed by my eyes. Okay.
An unusual.
That's right. But, and the Good Place podcast was as much of a love fest as always.
Yes.
But okay. I guess they've earned it. And nobody's forcing me to listen to it, so
True.
I keep going back. I did learn, I mean, if nothing else, this episode of the Good Place podcast was useful for learning how to pronounce Timothy Oliphant's name.
That's right. They
rhymes with elephant.
Quite a lot of time on that.
That's right. But this is useful information that they apparently didn't even have when they were saying it on the show.
Right.
So,
well, they let it get in their heads.
Right.
Like they were doubting themselves and questioning themselves, which sounds very like Good Place.
Yeah, it does. It does. They were pretty giddy on that podcast. So, very silly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do you make of them floating off to the Good Place with, say, possibly 3 episodes left?
I think only 2 episodes left.
Is it 2? But wasn't there going to be like a 2-parter on the last one?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you're right.
I think.
Yeah,
we really don't know. We're somewhere on the eye in Jeremy Bearimy wondering what is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that surprised me for sure. That was one of those and now we're switching gears right now. So I will be curious to see how that pays off and pays out.
It makes me not trust it. Is it
right?
Not real? And, after this big thing that, Sean was now going to have to work with Michael and how much he hated that. Did they? I don't think who knows how much time went by building the new neighborhoods, but Michael wasn't involved in that, right?
It was 1.28 Jeremy Bearimys is how much time.
Right. Yeah, that was a long commercial, I guess. But, so they really aren't working together because Vicky did the neighborhoods and then Michael's going away. So that was kind of I don't know. Sometimes you have to let art wash over you. And probably overthinking this, of all things, should not be overthought. Enjoy it in the moment.
Yes.
And Vicky's little scenario for Tahani was really quite good.
Oh, yeah.
Reminded me how hateful her parents are.
Yes.
Honestly.
She came from the gym. She's wearing a strapless floor-length ball gown. Obviously, she came from the gym.
Yeah. And you would say, oh, that was just something Vicky made up. But no, that sounds like something they would have said.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah. It's true. Vicky was quite skilled.
She was. Good for her,
She's a bad actress, but she's good at torture. There you go.
So, well, we'll see. Once again, an episode of The Good Place ends with us having absolutely no idea where it could possibly go next.
That's right.
And also an episode that could well have been the end of the whole series.
That's right. They keep doing that to us.
Bye! Have fun in heaven, y'all. See you later. Oh, well. Was Janet in the balloon, too? She must have been in the balloon, right?
Yep.
Okay. No particular explanation for why she gets to go, but okay.
Yeah. Don't think about it, Tara.
Yes. Just gonna take it in. All right. Well, definitely winding down. We have The West Wing with a really, kind of a sweet and swoony episode called Institutional Memory. Institutional Memory does not sound like it would be the episode that it is.
No, it really
sounds very
does
cold
not.
And kind of sad, but it's this lovely CJ episode that just from the beginning to the end has me so happy. It's so, from the beginning where Margaret is trying to keep her going from her office. And, what a fantastic character Nicole Robinson has made out of Margaret with really not that many scenes and minutes.
Yeah.
You know exactly who she is. And she always, whenever she has a bit, it's wonderful.
Yes.
It's like, she probably, if you added up all her lines and all her scenes, it would be a very small amount. And yet, holy cow, is Margaret a terrific character.
Yes. Love her.
So that was very fun. But just, following CJ through this day where she's got these frustrations and everything, and she's got Danny. People talk about their relationships a lot in the show. At least this season. I feel like we finally got Josh and Donna squared away from there. If we don't know what we're doing in 4 weeks, then it's not worth doing. And now Danny is trying to get a beat on CJ and in their own little way. Will and Kate.
That's right.
Although theirs was dispatched pretty quick. Well, no, really not. We don't need 4 weeks. In about 4 minutes, we can get from, we could see what happens to, you're going to Oregon, I'm not. It's been fun. But there's 2 scenes at the end in particular, the one with CJ and Toby, and the one with CJ and Danny that I just play over and over again because they're so wonderful. Yeah. But in particular, the CJ and Danny scene where he gives this speech, and I'm going to quote it because it's like my fantasy of a man saying this to me. I want you to do what you want. I just want you to talk to me about it. I want us to talk about what it will mean and how we'll make it work. I want us to talk like we're going to figure it out together. I want us to talk because I like the sound of your voice. I just want to talk. And then with a little soup song of, Danny's best puppy dog.
Yeah.
But still, oh my goodness. Is this what women want? It's like for somebody to say, I want us to figure things out together and I want to talk to you about it. And I just like talking to you. I just like hearing your voice.
To you.
Oh my gosh. I just swoon every time I watch that on YouTube. Like,
it's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. CJ, how could you resist? And it does kind of melt her.
Yes,
so.
It does.
It's like, oh my goodness, that is so romantic. Maybe only to those of us who have husbands who, I'll do whatever you want, sweetie. Just go figure it out.
Right. No.
Which is good in its own way, but at the same time, yes. Can't we just sit and talk about it?
A little help would be nice.
I want you to do what you want. I just want you to talk to me about it. Yes, I will.
Take it, CJ. Don't squander this.
That's right. Please. Oh, man. So lovely. Yes. So nice. And when she shows up at his place and then they have that minute or two while the Secret Service is checking out his place, which I still don't get her Secret Service detail, but okay. And just the looks that they're giving back and forth.
And they never, I don't remember seeing them do that ever before. I guess they just have started when she's already in the apartment, but it was effective with both her, with both CJ and Toby.
Yes.
Because she had to just sit there and look at them.
In both cases. Yeah. Toby. That was so much contentiousness in their conversation there in his apartment. And then just that bit at the end where she says, we had it good for a while. I feel just all the nostalgic feels.
Yes.
For all the good times. And their banter just starts right back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though they have, as she said, they haven't spoken at all.
Yeah.
But, that's pretty huge of him to be willing to go there with her.
Right.
Even though,
well,
for both of them. But,
they both have a gripe, but their basic friendship level love for each other just cuts through.
Yeah.
As Andy said, you were friends for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, very nice scene. And it's like the last few episodes of this are just putting bows on things.
Right.
And that was just a nice, I hate that whole Toby plot that got him out of the White House and that he's been gone for most of the season 4. I hate it. But I am very grateful to them to put this sort of little bow on Toby and CJ and know that they will be all right.
And that he'll be all right. He's going to minimum security prison, but he's got a project he's going to work on while he's there.
It's good to have a project. So nice. Such a nice little resolution for them. I liked that very much.
Yes.
And, I also enjoy, speaking of CJ's Secret Service detail, I don't know if you noticed it, but the earlier scene where Danny and CJ are walking and fighting, and then, Danny accuses her of just not considering him as part of the picture at all, and she kind of gives him a look like, well, you're right.
Yeah.
And then he walks away, and in the background is a Secret Service agent with a look on his face. It was like, oh, snap.
Right. I did notice that guy back there.
Because they hadn't shown the Secret Service guys behind them while they were walking.
No.
That was the first one you saw. And then he comes into focus and you say, oh, that's right. They've got somebody following them the whole way. And this guy has clearly been listening.
And I also he's like, I called Margaret. I'm not stupid. Like, Margaret kind of took on the Carol role of
that's right.
mediating the relationship.
Yes. So fun. This is a good Margaret episode too. The scene where Franklin Hollis is in the Roosevelt room and Margaret and CJ and Will and Kate are all kind of in a tizzy.
Yes.
That was adorable. That was old school West Wing. That could have been in the first season. Just the bantering back and forth and the mild slapstick, and it was very fun.
I assume that was basically Bill Gates.
That was my assumption.
Yeah, and what an offer.
What an amazing offer.
$10 billion to solve a problem.
Man.
Like, how great is that?
And I love that she had a problem in mind instantly.
Yeah.
So, and something that when you hear it, you go, yeah, that'd be the thing. If you had somebody who just wants to take their money and do something unglamorous, that would be it. So it's meant to be. just like Donna knowing exactly what to say to Helen about being the chief of staff.
Yeah.
Everything's falling into place.
That's right.
For our adorable characters.
And I can't believe it. The next one is the last one.
Yes, we've come to the end. Yes, so next week we will talk about the very last episode of The West Wing called Tomorrow, and also a new episode of The Good Place called Patty, which we don't think is going to be the last episode, but time is a twisty thing, so who the fork knows. At any rate, that's going to be it for round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Goodbye, Catherine.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.